The following presentation is rated R for real. Real insight, real enlightenment, real talk, big people argument. In other words, adult content. Viewers' discretion is advised.
Right. Un momento, por favor. All right, so there we go. All right, good. So, this particular presentation is geared towards both my brothers and my sisters, but it will be focusing more so on the flip side of the narcissist. So, the brothers are going to more benefit from the knowledge imparted here today. But listen, as in a church, and what I say, a deliverance service. Yeah, but it's deliverance as in coming into the awareness of, so you can take the necessary steps to act on the knowledge given to be free from the situation you're in. But it's both for the brothers and the sisters. But listen, my brothers, pay close attention to what I'm about to say. And welcome to the Relationship Blueprint, Relationship Matters Edition, with yours truly, Sal, the Love Philosopher, your guide to having a meaningful, loving, and lasting relationship. On the previous session, the anthology of the narcissistic man, the classy predator, what was revealed on that session is the psychology behind why he is the way he is, his strategies, his patterns, as in his mode of operation, his MO, as well as the wolf in royal attire wearing the 4 different masks was exposed. This session will be addressing the flip side of the coin, something many persons are ignorant of, or most females would disagree with, especially in this particular moment. What I'll be addressing today is the narcissistic woman. It is the belief by many that women in no way can be narcissistic. And this would primarily be the woman. The sisters will say, no, a woman, it's a man thing. It's a man thing. Being a narcissist is a man thing. Yeah. But get it straight now. Being a narcissist has nothing to do with gender. Has nothing to do with gender. But what has happened over the years is society has painted the picture that being a narcissist is really just a man's thing. Because the women are the nurturers, the ones who are the caregivers, the one who shows empathy. The women are the victims of the narcissistic man. And this is what society has taught us to believe and embrace for years upon years upon years. And as a result of this, the narcissistic woman has been able to operate with impunity. She has been able to operate in plain sight. She has been given the license to do this because society paints the picture that being a narcissist is a man's thing. So she's free to carry on doing what she does and displaying this brutal injustice on men. Because here's the truth. As I stated earlier, narcissism has no gender. When it comes to the destruction behind this behavior, it is equal, be it done by a man or a woman. But the female narcissist looks different from that of the man. She operates very differently and is often more dangerous because society tends to overlook the narcissistic woman. Now, before I go any further, brothers, let me ask you this. Have you ever been in a relationship where you felt as though you were walking on eggshells, but you couldn't figure it out? Why? You couldn't figure out why. Also, have you ever been accused of being abusive or controlling when you tried to set boundaries? Have you ever had a woman threaten to harm herself if you tried to leave? Have you ever lost custody of the children because this woman convinced everyone you were the problem? Have you ever felt like no matter what you did, it was never enough, never right, never valued, never respected? If you answered to even one of this, if you answered even one of the question as yes, this session is in no way by chance. This session is for you, and it's not by chance that you came across this particular session, this live. Because this session might validate what you have been experiencing, but was unable to name it, was unable to figure out what was happening. Destiny brought you here. And what I have to share, you need to hear, and this goes also to you sisters, because you may finally get the answers to why you are the way you are. Now, let me give this disclaimer. Though the raw truth that I will be sharing may come across as though I'm bashing women, such is in no way the case. This is far from my intention. But as is said, the truth hurts, but the truth also sets one free. So if you're a woman watching on the live or on the replay or listening to the podcast, the words that I speak may cut you deep, and you can either take offense or allow the very same words to set you free and lead you towards the path of healing. Now let me get into the session that is dubbed or called the Queen of Deception, the Narcissistic Woman, because that's exactly what a female narcissist is, a queen of deception. She rules through emotional manipulation, and she's so skilled at this craft that she playing the victim is normally how it comes across. She's the victim. But when she is really the mastermind behind the manipulation and painting the picture, though it is the man. She's the kind of woman who has perfected the craft so well, the craft of manipulation, while maintaining plausible denial. She pretends as though she's never the problem. She always has a reason for why what happened, or she always projects it to the man. She's the kind of woman who destroys a man while convincing everyone else, including the man, that she's the victim. The Queen of Deception is that of a two-part series. And in this session, I will be focusing on part one that will look on the psychology of the narcissistic woman, what makes her different from the narcissistic man, the four roles or masks she wears, or the four roles she plays, as well as I'll be looking on the ancient spirits associated with a narcissistic woman. Now, by the end of part two, my brothers, you will have a complete knowledge and you will be completely able to recognize the queen of deception, a narcissistic woman. So you'll be able to avoid a bond built on trauma. And for those of you who are in this particular situation presently, my brothers, or is healing from a previous relationship with a narcissistic woman, you'll finally have the validation you have been seeking. You will finally be able to say, oh, that is what was happening. You will now have the proof needed to make known that, hey, I wasn't going crazy. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't mad none at all. I knew something was off with this woman. In this session, you'll be given the information that will set you free, so to speak. This is going to be rather thought-provoking, but necessary. So let's get into it. All right, now I'll be taking you to church. So as I paint this scenario, persons may be able to relate to this. Now, there was this successful businessman. Let me use names that are close to me. Let me pull out the middle name. All right, let me say Joseph, and the woman will be Josephine. All right. So Joseph was a successful businessman who owned his own company. Monetary, he was okay. He was stable. He had stability in terms of his money. His cash flow was good. He was respected in his community, and he had been divorced for 3 years and was thinking about getting back into the game, was thinking about starting to date him. Now, he met Josephine at a church function. Now, listen to me, at a church function. She was beautiful, soft-spoken. She was involved in ministry. She volunteered to different programs, the youth programs. She volunteered in her community services. Everyone seemed to have loved Josephine. Now, their first interaction, as in Josephine and Joseph's first moment of interacting, Josephine started opening up about her past. She started talking about her ex-husband, how abusive he was, her childhood trauma, how she had been so broken, but God was healing her. Joseph felt protective. He thought, finally, a woman with substance, a woman who seems like she would submit, a woman who has been through things and came out stronger. This is a woman of faith. Now, within a few weeks, Joseph introduced Josephine to his children. He introduced her to his mother, introduced her to his parents. Right? Introduced her to his friends. And persons seemed to have gravitated to her. Joseph even introduced her to his pastor, and the pastor said, brother, this one looks like a keeper. She looked like a godsend. Now, 3 months in, Josephine moved in because she made known to Joseph she was unable to keep paying the lease on the house she was living because she was struggling financially. So Joseph, being the man that he is, he decided to let her move in. Now, this was the first trap set. Because by the 6th month, things shift. Josephine stopped working. She said she was too traumatized to keep working at that place. Joseph being able to lock things down because monetary, he was stable. He made known that it's all good. It's all good. I will support you financially. No problem. He has the resources to do so. Now, the accusation started after 6 months. Josephine started looking in Joseph's phones and looking for text that was outdated text that was before her time. And she started accusing him of cheating. She cried for hours. She threatened to leave. She'd say things like, after everything I've been through, I can't believe you're doing this to me. Joseph would find himself apologizing for stuff like that, text that was before her time. Some simple stuff he kept on apologizing for. When he tried to set boundaries like, I need you to stop going through my phone, she breaks down and say things like, you have something to hide. Why you have a problem with me going in your phone? You're just like my ex. You're abusive. You're trying to control me. Joseph's children started noticing what was happening. They realized that they would hear Auntie J crying a lot. They'd see her on her phone at times talking to friends saying, Joseph is controlling just like my ex. I don't know what to do. I'm scared of him. But Joseph was far from controlling or abusive. All he did was see to establish basic boundaries in his home. Remember our theme house? But here's what was really happening. Josephine was documenting everything. She was making a record of the outbursts that he makes from time to time, discreetly recording him. And this was a result of her frustrating the man to the point where he will snap. It happens. One can take that much and no more. Josephine went around telling her friends, she told the church members, she told his pastor, she told his family that he was abusive, he was controlling. She painted a perfect picture that she was a victim of this man that she portrayed to everyone that was abusive and controlling. When Joseph finally tried to end the relationship, after realizing she had no intention of going back to work, to looking back for a job, or even healing, or being a partner, he decided to end it. Now, Josephine filed a restraining order, claimed that Joseph was violent and abusive, though this man had never touched her. Though he had never disrespected her, he raised his voice a couple of times, but never abused her. Now, she also claimed that he was financially being abusive. Now remember, all this is taking place before a year. Josephine got the restraining order. And guess what? Joseph had to move out of his house. His house that Josephine moved in. His house that this woman had no knowledge of how he came by it. This woman launched a smear campaign. She went all out, told everyone about how abusive Joseph was. She posted vain things on social media about escaping a narcissist. Joseph's reputation in the community, in the church that he grew up in, that he was respected in, all that was destroyed. His business almost got destroyed. His business suffered as a result of these accusations. And his relationship with his children was strained. And here's the worst part. People believed her over Joseph, who they known for years. And this woman who moved into his life, not even a year, they believed over Joseph. So Joseph lost his house, his reputation, and almost his business. He spent thousands of dollars in legal fees, and it took him 2 years to rebuild. My brothers, that right there is the action of a narcissistic woman, a queen of deception. And the reason I made mention of that story is because I need you to get that this is real. This happens. And it is devastating. It is overlooked many a times because society paints the picture that the woman is always the damsel in distress. And the man for just man up and deal with it. Now let me break down who such a woman is and how she operates and how you can protect yourself from such a woman. All right. So let's get to the root of the matter. So, who is the narcissistic woman? What's happening beneath the vulnerable, soft exterior? Because when the psychology of such a woman is comprehended, it all starts to add up. So let's look at what shaped her or mold her into becoming the queen of deception. Let's get to the core, the wounds that is at the core. Now, just like a narcissistic man, the narcissistic woman has a deep psychological wound, usually from childhood. Maybe she has daddy issues, that of a father who abandoned her or could have been abusive, an abusive father. But it's normally the abandonment issue, the neglect. So she learned men has a tendency to leave. As a result of that, she says to herself, she needs to control them before they get up and leave. Now, it could be that the mother was cold to her, as well as the mother could have been competitive, competing with her daughter, especially if the mother had her at a tender age. So this woman learned that I need to be the victim so as to get attention. I need to be special no matter what. This is what she learned from the mother who was competitive and cold towards her. Or maybe this one happens more than you know. Just like the narcissistic man who is the golden child, the prince in the family, it could be the same thing with the woman who is a narcissist. She's daddy's girl. She can do no wrong. She's the little princess. She's never taught accountability, never taught empathy. So instead, she learned that she's entitled to whatever she wants. And a man ought to spoil her and give her whatever she desire, just as daddy did. But whatever the reason is, here's what happened. The little girl developed a character she played. The character's role is to act as one who is special or deserves to be taken care of. And everyone who caters to her is rewarded. So she is the prized possession. She is the one who everyone serves. That is what the role she plays is. But outside of the daily role she plays and convincing people it is real, her true self deep down believes that she's undeserving of love. So if she in no way plays the victim, then she will not be seen as special. And she will never get the attention she desires. But here's the critical difference between a narcissistic man and a narcissistic woman. Pay close attention. The male narcissist builds a false person, as you would say, personality, the anality of the person, while the male narcissist is about, I'm superior, I'm powerful, I'm untouchable, I don't need anyone. That is the mask he wears or the role he plays. The female narcissist is the opposite. She's the victim. She's fragile. She's misunderstood. Everyone is against me is the picture she paints. And I need to be protected. I need a protector. She needs to be rescued and validated. So you see the difference. One is about supremacy, rulership, control, while the other is subtle, laid back, play the victim who needs to be protected. That's what the woman narcissist does. The male narcissist use dominance and control. I'm better than you, so submit to me. While the female narcissist uses victimhood to control. I'm hurt, I'm fragile. You're hurting me. You need to fix me. And victimhood is more powerful in our society because people rush to protect a victim. Victim gets sympathy, they get support, they get resources. A victim is never questioned. Victims are always believed, especially female victim. So what? Such a woman weaponized being a victim. Such a woman uses people's compassion as a weapon. Every interaction becomes about getting what she needs. Every relationship becomes a transaction. What can this person do to validate me? What can this person do to rescue me, to protect me, to provide for me? When we talk about the female narcissist, we are usually talking about the covert narcissism, also known as vulnerable narcissism. She complains about being the most hurt over that of being the best. She depends on sympathy, attention, and maintenance over love and admiration. So she rathers to be sympathized and given attention, as well as maintenance over love and admiration. This kind of woman tends to cry, withdraw, use guilt trips, play victim over being that of the angry, crazy witch. The key traits of the queen of deception, the narcissistic woman, is passive aggressive, manipulative through emotion and guilt. She always tries to guilt trip a man into doing what she desires. She plays the victim constantly after everything I've done is one of her punchlines, or what you call the chorus to her song. She uses guilt as the primary weapon. Remember when? How could you do this? After everything. She lacks genuine empathy, but fakes it brilliantly when it serves her. She shows affection, she shows empathy, she shows those, yeah, I love you, when it serves her. The narcissistic woman has a tendency to exploit others while appearing helpless. It's the emotional scammer. That's what she is. She refuses to be in any way accountable for any of her actions. Instead, what she does is deflects or put it back on the man, or pull the Shaggy syndrome, it wasn't me kind of thing. It's always someone else, or the Adamic syndrome. It was the woman you gave me. But she flipped the script. She always blaming someone else. It's always someone else. It's never her. And if you try to bring the reality to her attention that, no, seriously, you need to realize that you're doing this. You just don't understand. You don't get it. Nobody gets it. Yeah, she trumps that card. Now, in the previous session, I talked about the dark triad of the narcissistic man. That of the self-absorbed, cunning, or manipulative, cold-hearted, or ruthless individual. That is the narcissistic man. Self-absorbed, pompous, proud, cunning, sly like a fox, cold-hearted. Now, the woman has the equivalent to that of the dark triad in a man. But what hers includes is that of the covert narcissism, and that is the victim mentality, the manipulation through vulnerability, the borderline traits, the emotional instability, the fear of abandonment, the splitting, as in you're either good or bad. There's no in between. So you're either Mr. Wonderful, and whenever you're doing the things that she perceived to make her feel like the queen she deems herself to be, you're the worst guy on the earth. You're evil. You're the devil. Now, another trait is that of the melodramatic trait, the drama, the using of sexuality and emotions to manipulate. Those are the dark traits of the narcissistic woman. And the most dangerous woman of all three, as in playing the victim, the covert narcissist, the emotional unstable, the borderline, some person would have said she seemed like she bipolar, or the drama queen, the melodramatic woman. The worst of all is this, is when a woman is able to combine all three. The combination is devastating because such a woman, such a narcissistic woman is unpredictable. Now, let me be very clear about something. You're in no way targeted, my brother, because you're weak. You're targeted because you're strong. A narcissistic woman is looking for a Superman because you have the qualities she can exploit. She wants a compassionate man who will try to save her. He'll make excuses for her behaviors. He'll give her endless support and endless chances. She seeks the kind of man who is successful because he has the resources she can exploit, it being money, status, connections, or his house, or a car. The queen of deception goes for men who has strong morals, it being he grew up in a strong home that had good morals, or he's striving to be spiritually enlightened. A narcissistic woman tends to go for such a man because he will stay because he is a good man. And a good man in no way abandons a woman in need. She goes for the protector, a protective man. Because a protective man it's a part of his, what you say, his DNA. It's his instinct. He has an instinctive thing about being protective. It's about protecting the weak. So a narcissistic woman weaponizes being the damsel in distress. She also goes for the man who not like conflict. Because he'll do anything to avoid confrontation, an argument. He wants to maintain a state of solace within his household. So because of that, she'll go after a man who is, for a simpler term of word, like to keep the peace. And then the queen of deception goes for men of faith. Now, when she goes for a man of faith, she uses scriptures to manipulate him. And stuff like God told her or the Bible says. So if you're a good man, responsible, protective, sympathetic, successful, have principle, you are exactly who the queen of deception is looking for. Now, brothers, I know some of you might be thinking, but that's sad. She's wounded. She is carrying a lot of hurt. And she just needs help. But I can assure you, trying to be her Enrique Iglesias, being a hero to her, is in no way the wise thing to do. Because no matter what you do, it will never be enough. You will never be patient enough. You'll never make enough sacrifice. You will never be as understanding enough for her. You will never be able to be enough. You'll never be able to do enough to fix this woman. Because the truth is, You are in no way able to fix her. She can only fix herself. And many of such women in no way thinks that they're broken. They think you are the one. The man is the one who's broken. He's the one who's the problem. He's the one who needs to change. He's the one who's always doing something wrong. Another term for such a woman is a vampire. But blood is in no way what she's sucking. But she will bleed you dry financially, emotionally, spiritually, and then blame you for failing to do more. Now, looking on the time, I think I can run into the four roles and put a lid on it there. Now, the female narcissists are great actresses, and they act their roles very well in the reality movie called Your Life. You get me, my brother? That's the name of the movie. It's Your Life. Now, the first role or mask that the narcissistic woman wears is that of the damsel in distress. This is the woman who always has a crisis. Her car needs repairing, her rent is due, her ex is harassing her, her boss is mistreating her, her health is failing, her family is against her. Something is always the problem. There's always something to fix. She's always in distress. Now get it straight. If a woman is always in distress, getting involved with her means that you are going to be the one in stress. Now, the damsel in distress is one who paints the picture that she needs to be rescued. She needs a hero. She shares her trauma early in the inception of the relationship. You just start maybe even the first, second date, maybe even on the first date. She start tell you everything about her past life, the traumatic experiences she encountered. She creates false intimacy and have you feel special because she trusts you with her pain. So she open up and give you all this hurt. Serve it up to you on a silver platter. She cries on your shoulder. You comfort her. You fix her problem. So you become the hero. Now you're believing, and the thing about it, this is what will happen to a man if he has a savior complex. He has to save her. Because it feels as though you're doing something good. And it feels good to be needed. A strong man is a protector. A strong man looks out for a woman in need. But get this straight. The crisis never stops. You address one issue, another one pop up. You deal with something financially, then suddenly there's a health crisis. Even if I don't fear health issue, oh, you know my grandmother who I told you that raised me, who I love so much. Grandma not feeling well. Grandma needs to go to the doctor. Yeah, it is always something. So you deal with that issue, then the ex situation come up. Ex harass her. You go step to the ex, or you have her move in to protect her. Mm, right? Moment, please. So, the crisis is never ending. Because if you heal, you see, the thing is this, you see, if she heal, yes, there you go, attention seeking. Always seeking attention. But this is the thing. Even when nothing is happening, she's going to create something out of nothing. Because once she gets things in place, she don't want you to help her to be a better her, She don't want you to help her to be financially stable. As in, introduce her to investment that she has to manage so she can be financially stable. She don't want that. Because in doing that, she has become stable. And if she becomes self-sufficient, she loses the power she has over that man. Her helplessness is her key weapon. Your desire to rescue her is the weapon she uses to control you. This is what this narcissistic woman does. The damsel in distress. Now, to identify this woman, you need to question yourself or observe if this woman takes responsibility for anything she does, anything that comes up, any problem. Does she take responsibility for it? Or is she always the victim or of circumstance and other persons are the problem? Does she ever say, oh gosh, I need to do better. I'll do better. Gosh, it's a weakness, but I need to work on it. Can you help me work on it? Has she ever say anything like that? If she's never take responsibility for any problem, anything, that is a key indicator of a damsel in distress. If everyone is always doing something wrong to her and she is never a part of the problem, that's the role this woman is playing. Damsel in distress. The narcissistic woman who plays the role of the damsel in distress. Now, a woman going through a genuine hard season will say things like, as I said, I need to make some changes. I appreciate your help, but I know we want to be a burden. The damsel in distress is in no way going to say that. She's going to pull a card like, nobody helps me. Everyone abandons me. And then she will pull this card like, I don't know what I would do without you. That is the manipulation hook right there. The next role or mask the narcissistic woman wears is that of the saint or the martyr. Now, this woman portrays to be that of Miss Perfect. In public, she is Miss Perfect, Miss Wonderful. She's the perfect mother, the perfect Christian woman, the perfect neighbor, the perfect volunteer, the perfect worker. Yes, boss love her, everybody. Her co-workers, them love her. She's the perfect friend. Everyone thinks this woman is amazing. Your family loves her. Your friends love her. Your homeboys will say, such a catch. Yes, the perfect pretender. I'm trying to remember that Percy Sledge song. I remember it's not a perfect pretender. Something along that line. The great pretender, the great pretender. I think that is the person slash, the great pretender. Now, this woman, the saint or the martyr, she paints the picture that she's the perfect wife on the outside. Persons, if she goes to church, people love her at church. She has the heart of a servant, is what you're going to hear. She's such a blessing in disguise. But perfectly, she is to everyone else. But to the man she is with, it's a total different thing. And them say behind closed door or something else? Yeah. Behind closed door, she's cruel to the man, she's controlling, and she's manipulative. In public, she smiles, put on a show. Remember, she's playing a role. This narcissistic woman role is that of the saint or the martyr. She uses sacrifices as a weapon. She'll say something like, after everything I've done for you, seriously, you find it hard to do that for me? I give up my career for this family. I've put on so much weight because I've carried two children for you, and I put on so much weight, and you can't even do this for me. I put on weight because I have baby. I know I'm tired all the time. Instead of taking the responsibility of getting up and exercising. Then she'll chump stuff like, nobody appreciates me. I do everything around here. Her giving is never sacrificial. It's a debt you'll owe forever. Every act of sacrifice comes with strings attached with such a woman. Every sacrifice is logged in her mental ledger to be used against you later. Now, here's the identification test when it comes to the narcissistic woman who plays the role of a saint or a martyr. What happens when you set a boundary or say something she disagrees with? That is how you test to see if this woman is a saint or a martyr. That's the role she's playing as a narcissistic woman. Because a healthy woman might be disappointed with a boundary you've set or something you said that she disagreed with or did that she disagreed with, but she will respect it. She'll talk to you about it. She ain't gonna blow her steam off. She'll respectfully talk to you about it, make known that she disagreed with that or disliked that was said. But the saint or martyr will remind you of everything she did for you and tell you she can't believe you are saying this or doing this. Also, pay attention to her inconsistency. How does she treat you on the road, in public, and how she treats you at home? Pay attention to that. Now, the third mask or role is that of the seductress, the Jezebel, right? This is the woman who uses sexuality and charm to manipulate, to control. Now, this is in no way necessarily means she sleeps around. Or does it mean that she's going to give it up on the first date? Though she might. Sometimes such a woman will withhold sex to control the man Other times she will use sex as a reward or a punishment mechanism. Either way, sex is a tool used to control. Now, this narcissist woman, seductress Jezebel, she tends to flirt with other men to make you jealous. She dress in revealing stuff, then gets upset when you she dress in revealing stuff, then gets upset when you notice other men noticing her. She creates this triangulation kind of thing, making you feel like you have to compete for her attention because other men are willing to give her attention. So she intentionally dress revealing. She tries to keep you insecure, keeps you competing, keeps you trying to prove your worth. Now, such a narcissistic woman often has a tendency to target men in position, men of authority, be it a man who's already in a relationship, a married man. I've heard this, and Jim of a wife to me will say from time to time, when I going out and I leave my ring and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm going back for my ring, or I never got my ring, I never wear my ring. What's the reason? What's the big deal with the ring? Is for me taken. Wife would make known that, listen, there are women who that for them is a green light. That's what they want to see. A man who is taken, a man who is in a committed union, for them, that's a competition. They want that. It's a conquest for them. It feeds their untamed ego. Now, this kind of narcissistic woman, as I said, go for men in power, be it a boss, an entrepreneur, a motivational speaker, pastor. Yes, men with status. They target these men who have something they want. In the biblical terms, this is who a Jezebel would be deemed. In the church arena, they will call it a Jezebel spirit. I will in no way be able to touch on the spiritual aspect of it in this presentation. I'm going to have to carry it over to part 2. Time in no way will permit me to do that because that is deep. The spirit that is attached to the narcissistic woman. The Jezebel spirit happens to be one such. All right? Now, how to identify the narcissistic woman who plays the role of the seductress or Jezebel, or is governed by one of the ancient spirits, that being the Jezebel spirit. The other is the Delilah spirit. All right? Now, you ID or identify such a woman by seeing if she tends to create drama with other women. The next thing is, does she profess constantly that other women are jealous of her? If she says women are always jealous of her, something to look out for. If this woman needs ongoing validation, constant validation from not just you, but other men, she dress provocative so as to get the attention, the, hey, you look good in that. Yeah, if she seeks that thing there, watch out. If this woman maintains male acquaintances, as in male friends, and just said that's all they are, he's just a friend, look out for that, because very few men can be friends with women and desire nothing else. You get where I'm going? So she's tying out these men, giving the impression, she's flirting with them, giving the impression that something may happen sexually one day, when she's really using it to control you, the man. Does she undermine your self-assurance, your abilities, your capabilities, while boosting her own image? Does she try to bring you down to put herself up? Oh, someone may say, oh, bro, you know you're good at that. You're well good at it. And she's like, oh, I can do it better. Instead of, yes, he's good at it. Even if she's better at it, say it behind closed door. No, this narcissistic woman is going to show him up. She's going to flex her muscle. And she may say stuff like, you're lucky to have me. Other men would kill to have me. You know how much man would want to be with me? A woman like that is a seductress governed by a Jezebel energy. Another telltale or another way to identify the narcissistic woman who is a seductress or a Jezebel is, does she uses sex strategically? Does she withhold when she's disappointed, or does she reward you with sex when you do something she likes? Those are the telltale signs of the narcissistic woman who plays the role of seductress. Now, the fourth and final role, and I will wrap here for now, is that of the borderline queen. This is the one who is volatile. This is the woman who is unstable. She's emotionally unstable. And she'll frame it as though, or paint the picture as, I just love so deeply. I feel so intensely. She'll paint that picture. Now, one day this woman is your soulmate. Everything is nice. She'll love you for life. But the next day, you're the worst person that could ever live. You've destroyed her. You're the worst man she could have ever picked up. She hates you. She hates your guts. You're a shell of a man. The drama queen is what I'm talking about. The borderline queen. Who one will perceive to be that of, right away they will throw a label on it and call her bipolar. There's no middle ground for this woman. There's no ability to rationalize or reason. She threatens so often to commit suicide or try to set boundaries. Anytime you say you're going to leave or she needs to change, or the drama queen kicks out. She's going to kill herself. You don't love her. The tears comes in. She moves into character mode. She has explosive reaction to minor things. It could be as simple as, I'm trying to see if I can make a scenario here now. She burn the food, serve it to you, my brother. You take a few bites, you try to eat it, and you're like, babes, not able to eat this. I have to throw this away. And I sweat over the food, so and I did all that for you, and you're just wicked. You don't appreciate nothing I do. The food burn. Not burn like a bun. But you're supposed to eat the food, right? And make her feel good. This kind of woman will accuse a brother of abandoning her if he says he needs some space, if he needs time to think. If this brother no respond to her text them, like a Usain Bolt right away, he's cheating. He has no interest anymore. This narcissistic woman is the type that goes through the man's phone. This is the type that pulls the CIA kind of thing. Check his social media status, all that. Check his watch history. Oh, I see you're watching girls. Why? Yeah, shouldn't take the time out to see that maybe the video is something informative. Oh, you're watching those girls, the sexy girls you're watching, or you're watching other women. That's the borderline queen. She goes through even your receipts them. So why you at here today? And the brother is put in a spot to give an explanation. Because if he goes silent, then see, you're hiding something. Her emotions dictate everything in the relationship. If she's upset, the whole household is on eggshell. Everything has to stop. If she's anxious, you need to drop everything to reassure her. Babes, everything all right. Don't worry yourself. Now, how to ideal the seductress or the Jezebel narcissistic woman is you feel like you're up on eggshell. You have to always depend on your P's and Q's. You have to say the right thing at the right time. Do the right thing at the, well, not, I wouldn't even say the right time. Do what she perceives to be right when it's right for her. Or say what is right. That pleases her. So it may not be right, but it pleases her. So to her, it's right. I know you can relate. I know some of your brothers can relate. Do you spend your energy managing her emotions? Is one of the telltale signs. You barely can live your life. You barely can do the things you ought to do because you pay attention to she 24/7 almost. It's almost like your job. Does this woman swing like a swing song between idolizing you, you're so perfect, you're the perfect gentleman, to treating you like trash, devaluing you to the lowest degree? You're a shell of a man. You have no sense. Sometimes you say some stuff that seems so stupid. Is this woman terrified or afraid of abandonment, but also pushes you away regularly? Does she threaten to do harm, bodily harm, or commit suicide if you say that the relationship is becoming toxic, or you never sign up for this, or you need space? If yes to any of those questions, my brother, you're dealing with a borderline or a drama queen narcissist. And this is one of the worst type of narcissistic woman. This one is the most dangerous because the suicide threats feel real. And because of that, you stay. Because you don't want her to harm herself. So you stay in this toxic relationship. But get this. Her mental health is in no way your responsibility. Sounds harsh, but it's the reality. You in no way can be responsible for her mental health because she refused to come out of that state. You can only assist her if she's willing to put in the work. Staying in that toxic relationship will in no way save her. What it will do is only enable her to avoid dealing with the truth and take action. That, listen, you're a narcissist and you need to work on this. If you want this to work, then you need to work on you, and I can assist you. Now, here's what's important to comprehend, man and man. A narcissistic woman might play a particular role, that of the damsel in distress, the saint or the martyr, or the seductress, the Jezebel, or that of the drama queen, the borderline queen. But get this straight. They can shift roles at any time. The damsel can become the martyr or the saint when you stop rescuing her. All right? She can become the one that says, after everything I have done for you. The saint can become the seductress, the Jezebel, when she needs to regain control. She'll use sex to lure you in. The seductress can become the borderline queen, the drama queen, where the rage goes off, the threats comes out. The mask is just a tool. The different types of narcissistic behaviors is just the roles these women play. Now, on part 2 of this, the queen of deception, the narcissistic woman, going to look on the toxic manipulation versus healthy femininity, among other things. So in closing, I've touched on the psychology behind the narcissistic woman, why she behaves the way she does, touched on her mode of operation, and touched on the roles such a woman plays. Now, this is where I say so long for now, and until next time. We're in no way finished. That is just a part of part 1. There's a lot more to even discuss than part 1. So this seems like it's going to be maybe part 3 of this particular series, within the series of knowing a narcissist from the beginning. All right? The woman seems as though she's going to cover more grounds than even the narcissistic man. So ensure to be here for the follow-up to this series, the Queen of Deception. I never know you were here, Mr. Humble. It's good to have you here. All right. So, my brothers, if you are in danger, it being physical, psychological, legal, emotional, or if you just need someone to talk to, call Dr. Shands or myself by WhatsApp at 345-923-2567. That's 345-923-2567. Or email us at 547advisors@gmail.com. That's 547advisers@gmail.com. Follow us here on TikTok. Follow us on the other platforms, that being the Black Tube or that of YouTube. Follow us at The Love Philosopher. All right. So share this episode with a brother who needs to hear this. Someone who's been accused of being the narcissist, he being the problem when he's actually the victim, share it with someone who's losing himself in a relationship with a narcissistic woman. Share it with a brother who has lost his sense of hope, his sense of belonging, his sense of maybe feel like he's losing his mind or going crazy. He's lost his resources, maybe losing children, lose something that he built and this woman came in and just took it through divorce or some other means. Now leave a review as well, for it helps to bring others to the live, and it helps to bring others into the awareness of what the Love Philosopher and what Dr. Shands and I are sharing. All right, so I am Sir the Love Philosopher. This has been part 1 of how to tell if the woman you're with is a narcissist, the Queen of Deception. Look out for part 2, because it's only going to get deeper. So until then, guard your heart, my brothers. Guard your purpose. Guard your sanity. And sisters, if some things struck a chord, in no way take offense. It is actually the first step of healing. It is awareness. So you've come into the awareness. Now it's time to accept that you may very well be a narcissist. And Dr. Shanza and I are here to assist you with taking action to overcome this tendency. So until next time, so long, so long.
This concludes today's broadcast.